Hey guys, for today's guided practice activity, we are going to look at the slides that I gave you guys about the digestive system and then try to complete the note sheet that I have assigned you guys for today's activity. Now, when we talk about the digestive system, so far we know that it definitely contains the stomach and the intestines, right? And yes, they are a part of the several organs that include the digestive system. But the digestive system itself has three main functions. The first one, as you can see right here, is to first break down the food that goes into your mouth into small little particles that can be used by our body. Now, for example, if we eat bacon, for example, we would probably chew it very thoroughly, right? To make sure it's a small paste that goes down to our stomach. Then our body continues to break it down. Our stomach actually continues to break it down into smaller particles to release energy and to release nutrients that can be used by our body. That's where we come to the second function. It absorbs the nutrients into the blood. So once the stomach does its part and it breaks it down to release energy and nutrients, it is then absorbed by our blood, all the nutrients that can be used, like vitamins or proteins, minerals, iron. These are all different kinds of nutrients that our body then absorbs by our blood. And finally, the third part of the digestive system, or the third function, is to eliminate the waste from the body. So whatever waste it had accumulated, right? So whatever after, for example, let's come back to that bacon, and whatever the bacon was, after whatever was left after breaking down the bacon, whatever the body does not need goes out of our body in terms of either feces or urine. So those are the three functions of the digestive system. Now, I know it sounds very complicated, but trust me, once you understand how it works, you will not have any problem remembering how any of this works. Now, the digestive system actually can happen in two different ways. It can either be a mechanical digestion, or it can be like a chemical digestion. Now, to remember mechanical digestion, think of something that happens when you're chewing something. How you are physically trying to break down food into smaller parts, right? So when we put food into our mouth, we are breaking it down into a smaller, finer paste that can go down your throat, right? That is mechanical digestion. That's an analogy that you can use for mechanical digestion, where food is broken down physically into smaller bits. In that case, what do you think is chemical digestion? Now think about starch being broken down into sugar. That's called chemical digestion. This is not something that you can do by physically breaking things down. No. This is something that happens when chemicals like enzymes actually break down foods into smaller building blocks. Now, if you wanted an example of starch, let's talk about cakes, for example, or anything that's made out of sugar, sweet stuff, or flour, or let's see, pancakes or waffles. These are all very starchy materials. They are made out of flour and are sugary. So when these are broken down by our enzymes to release the smaller building blocks like sugar or glucose, chemical digestion is actually taking place. Isn't that very exciting? Now, when we look at the different parts that are included in the digestive system, as you can see right here, we have the mouth, which is literally your mouth, and the esophagus. Now, esophagus is actually the tube that connects your mouth to, as you can see, to the stomach right here. Now, what your mouth does is that it has teeth, right? So it will break down the food into smaller pieces, and then the esophagus actually it's composed of smooth muscles, and it pushes down the food through the tube into the stomach. Now, the mouth also has the saliva, right? Now saliva is actually an enzyme that starts the process for chemical digestion, that starts breaking down the food into its smaller building blocks. Now most of the digestion, however, though, happens in the stomach itself. This is where the mechanical digestion occurs when here actually mechanical and chemical digestion both take place in the stomach. The mechanical digestion here takes place when it breaks it down physically into smaller parts by churning the food, and chemical digestion takes place when there are a lot of enzymes that are present in the stomach itself. So when the stomach breaks down the food using these enzymes, we can say that chemical digestion takes place here. Then we have the liver, as you can see here, which produces bile, which is a liquid or a substance that aids in digestion. And the gallbladder actually stores that bile. Now let me zoom in so you guys can see what the gallbladder looks like. Do you see those little green substances, those little itty bitty substances? Those are actually the gallbladder, and those actually store the bile or the bile juice that is produced by the liver. And then we also have the pancreas. So if you look over there, you can see the pancreas. Oh, my bad. I actually misread the picture. So the green substances are actually the pancreas, and the little orange substance right here above the intestines are actually the gallbladder. Now the pancreas actually produce a lot of enzymes that flow into the small and the large intestines and help break them apart. Now I want you guys to use this information to complete our guided practice for today. We also have two little things that we need to talk about, which includes the small intestine and the large intestine. Now the small intestine, as you can see right over here, hold on, okay. So the small intestine actually, just as we already talked about it before, it absorbs all the nutrients that was produced in the body, and they pass through these small little itty bitty linings called the villi, or the villi. You can pronounce it any way you want. And the large intestine reabsorbs any water that the body might need later. And then we have the rectum, which compresses the waste into a solid form and throws it out of the body in the form of feces. And this was all the information that you needed to complete today's guided practice activity. In a second, I'm going to show you the answers for these. So if they did not look similar, you are free to change these before you turn them in. And there we go. Those are the answers. Feel free to pause your screen to make sure you have the right answers. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.